Welcome to another reading vlog. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now I'm doing another reading vlog. I know, I thought that I would literally post one reading vlog and call it a day, but I posted it. I had fun with it. You know, like editing took a little bit while because I was trying to make it a little bit more interesting. But anyways, I saw a lot of people leave some really nice comments on the reading vlog. Viewers that I haven't seen before commented on the video and also on the post, telling me how much they enjoyed the content, telling me how much they enjoyed the reading vlog, even though it was like 49 minutes long. And I was not expecting anybody to finish like a 49-minute reading vlog because those are like even way too long for me. But when I was piecing it together, putting it together, I didn't realize I had that much footage. Anyways, so right now it is Sunday, and if I look a little bit sweaty and if I don't look the best, it's because I just finished doing my household chores. I like to do all my cleaning and my deep cleaning of like the bathroom and my room on Sundays so that I can at least start off the week a little bit less chaotic than it typically is. And I like to feel, you know, like it's a clean new start. It's like one of those like clean environments, right? I don't have any footage showing you me cleaning my bathroom and me cleaning like the hallway and my room because it's, you know, it's a personal time. It's a personal sacred time of where I have to clean my filth. And I don't feel like you guys need to see it. But I wanted to do a quick pop in and to talk about some of the books that I have started this week that I want to get done this week and to kick off the month of August. So the first book that I want to talk about that I am starting to read, and I'm only 100 pages in, is this new one called Wait For It by Jen McKinley. And now I realized that this book actually comes out in the middle of August, like maybe August 10th. And I got my pre-order from Chapters Indigo way earlier than anticipated. So I just started reading it because it's one of my most anticipated reads this summer, simply because I really liked her first novel called Paris Is Always a Good Idea. So I knew I was in for a good time, and I am in a really great time right now. I would recommend this book to you guys if you guys like Emily Henry's novel People We Meet on Vacation or Beach Read, because it involves a very grumpy hero who has a lot of like PTSD from the things that happened in his past life, and he has a darker past. And then we have our heroine who is kind of like the Miss Sunshine trope, who comes from a, you know, like a little trickier background too as well, but not as tricky as his. And basically she moves all the way across the country, United States, from like Boston, I believe, all the way to Arizona, to the hot weather there, so that she can start her new job because she's avoiding the problems back at home. And there she actually rents a space out, and it's our hero space. And she never actually met our hero yet, so she just kind of thinks that the landlord is very old, but turns out he's not, and he's actually pretty decent looking because, hello, it's our hero. So I'm 100 pages in, and I'm reading it physically because since it's a new book, it doesn't have an audiobook yet. So this is going to be like one of the very few physical copy books that I actually do read. I typically read ebooks and I listen to audiobooks. So I'm really liking how slow I'm taking it as, because I'm really like digesting the words and I'm able to get all the jokes, especially the sarcasm in this book. Jen is really funny. Like, I laughed at a lot of the jokes and I felt like it had all the humor that we are so comfortable with today in society. Like, it even has slang that I understand and that I use from day to day. So kudos to Jen for making this relatable, and I would recommend you to check this one out. I know one of my friends on Instagram, and also the artist of my banner on my YouTube channel, Genevieve, actually really liked Paris Is Always a Good Idea too, and this is actually one of her most anticipated reads. So hopefully this one lives up to our standards and that we both like it very much. And then just another quick update, one of the audiobooks I am listening to right now is this new one from Vivenne and Lorret. This one is called The Wrong Marquess or Marquis, and it's part of the Mating Habits of Scoundrels series. And I think this is book number 3. I forget if I actually read book number 1 and 2. Book number 2 was like a white and a red cover, and it reminded me a lot like Christmas because they were in the middle of like winter. And I think this series is about girls who are writing a guide to scoundrels. I think that's what the premise of the series is, because I forget if I read book number 1 or book number 2, but clearly I don't think I did, or else I would know what the underlying story is for this trilogy or this series is. But basically this plot line is about our main female heroine who has been in love with the next door neighbor for a very long time, and she is patiently waiting for him to propose to her. but then afterwards he never really does. And so she's trying to seduce him kind of thing. Meanwhile, our hero is actually the grumpy guy that gets in the way and tries to convince her that, why are you wasting your time on this fool? Like, you should be spending your time with me because I'm clearly the best person out of all these guys here. So you should just date me instead, and you should just marry me instead. And she's like, I just don't like you because of your personality. You're like way too grumpy for me, and you're way too cynical. I think the story's actually just going to be about how he tries to seduce her. And I think that's going to be super cute, especially since I'm around maybe 30% into the audiobook already. And he is so grumpy, simply because he comes from a background where he has been hurt in the past before and he doesn't believe in love anymore. So he needs a little bit convincing, and he needs a little bit of time to digest his feelings. So I'm really liking this one. So hopefully I can finish that one sometime very soon, because I tend to finish audiobooks quicker than I tend to finish physical books. And then in terms of what I actually did today and what I actually accomplished, I actually did many things. I was supposed to record some videos for my YouTube channel, like just a pre-record so I could have some files ready to edit so that I could publish throughout the week, but I didn't, and I ended up filming a lot of book talks. And now book talk has literally taken over my life, and there is a reason for it, and I'm going to explain it hopefully in another video. But book talk is just like a whole other ball game where I'm just trying my best to put out content on there and hoping that it shows up on people's For You pages. But if you guys are unfamiliar with book talk is basically another trend that's happening on TikTok, where a lot of people talk about books there on TikTok, and then now it's picking up a lot of momentum. Like Barnes and Noble's Chapters Indigo here in Canada and many other booksellers are focusing on the books that are trending on TikTok, because they found a new method of selling books, and that's through TikToks. So I'm having a fun time going on to that community, learning more about it, developing my craft, and hopefully establishing a base there so that I can communicate and influence readers like yourself to pick up some books that I really like. But yeah. And then now for the rest of the day, I actually ended up going to the grocery store. It was the Korean supermarket. I liked going there because I like to buy myself like snacks and things like that. And then I also went to other grocery stores to pick up things for dinner. Today we're going to have like a Korean barbecue where we're going to grill some meat on a new flat stove that we bought that's specifically made for a Korean barbecue, and it's going to be super fun. So I'm going to bring you along with me too as well. And then what else did I do today? Nothing really much except for cleaning, and now I'm reading my books. So I'm going to go take a shower now, and then I'm going to go take you along with me to dinner, and then I'm just going to clock in for the rest of the day and hopefully get some more reading done. Alright, so today is Monday. Now, I don't know how I feel about Mondays. I get Sunday scaries. I get Monday scaries on Sunday, which is basically, not having the greatest time on Sunday, thinking about the work ahead of schedule, thinking about all the things that you have to accomplish and do, thinking about the impending doom of the inbox with all the emails left unread, thinking about the responses that you have to make, and you get a little anxious. But this weekend was really stressful for me because I knew I had a lot of things to take care of once I sat back down here on Monday. And yeah, I did have a lot of things to take care of, so that's not great. In terms of reading, I did read up to 50% of Vivenne Lorret's novel, and I like it so far. It's really fun. I keep saying it's really fun, and I keep saying it's really fun and flirty, but it really is. Like, it's a light romantic comedy that I definitely need right now. For some reason, right now at this moment, I only been craving romantic comedy novels. I don't want to read anything dark and angsty and like paranormal, or at least like not like on the lighter side of paranormal, because I just want to soak in summer. Like summer 2021 was in the trash for me. Like nothing happened in my summer 2021 aside from me going to work every single day. And then just that usually summers include patios, vacations, and like fun things all around. But like since we're still under lockdown, it's just books are my coping mechanism. Anyways, so I'm really liking Vivenne's Lorret's novel right now, and I would continue listening to the audiobook of it, but I'm starting to get a little bit of anxiety when I listen to audiobooks now, and I think it's because of the speed that I'm listening to at. So I listen to at like a minimum 3 times the speed, and that is pretty fast depending on the narrator and the storyline and things like that. So I'm trying to not listen as fast and trying to enjoy the story as much as possible. And right now, when I'm feeling anxious, I tend not to listen to audiobooks anymore anyways, and I just listen to music. So the one song that I did show you that I'm listening to is Pentagon, Naughty Boy, and this is a K-pop song. This song was actually released like a couple years back. It's an old song, but it showed up on my shuffle playlist on Spotify, and I remembered how much I liked it and how well I connected with the song. So if you look at like English translations for this song, Naughty Boy, it talks about a frog and a well and just jumping up and down, and it's like so random and so weird. And obviously, like if you're a K-pop listener and you're not Korean, you probably won't understand the lyrics, and you'll just enjoy the song for its beats and for the music videos and artistry. But if you were to take the step further and go look up the lyrics, you might be turned off by it because you don't understand why maybe Korean lyrics are written that way, why they're talking about a frog. And there was this one channel on YouTube that did a breakdown of K-pop songs called DDTV, I think, where it just like K-pop explains, and it explains the songs and the deeper meanings behind the songs. And I remember not liking the song as much until I heard the meaning behind this song and how the song was based off of a children's story, which is about how frogs never really listen to their parents. And then now this song is about, even though you're growing up, you don't have to listen to everyone who's telling you to do something. If society is telling you to do one way, you can always change your mind and do something else. And it's like invigorating and it's empowering. It's basically telling you to break the mold. You don't have to always be an adult. You can be a child and have fun too as well. And I think I really connect with this song right now, especially in my mid 20s. And I'm just like trying to figure out life and trying to act a certain way because I think society wants me to act this way. But then deep down, I still feel like I'm a big child. Hi, welcome back. So reading update or life update. Today was a really bad day at work. Lots of things happened. Out of control, in control, whatever. I just wasn't having the greatest time at work today. My mood was bad. I was feeling very anxious. I was feeling very depressed. It was just bad vibes all around. Mondays are always the worst, just because Mondays are just universally the worst. I'm sure everybody who's watching this feels the same. So I didn't really listen to my audiobook that much throughout the workday like I typically would. But anyways, let's do a reading update on Vivenne Lorret's book. This one, I'm starting to really, really like it. I think it's a solid 4 out of 5 stars right now. Basically, our hero has been jilted before, or like not jilted, but like rejected by his person that he really, really liked, and he thought that she liked him back for like actual good reasons, but turns out she only wanted to climb the social ladder and she only wanted the money that came with his title. So when someone better came around, she was like, goodbye, I'll see you never, and he was left heartbroken. So he's been damaged, so that's why he doesn't want to have anybody anymore. And you can see how vulnerable he is with his emotions because he knows that he's falling in love with our heroine, but he's scared because our heroine is technically, or so he thinks, in love with the next door neighbor that she's been in love with for like many, many years. And then meanwhile, she is conflicted too as well because she's convinced that the next door neighbor is the one for her. But then she's like, what's happening though? Like, why do I have so many emotions? And like, why do I care about, this hero more than the childhood crush? So anyways, it's pretty good so far. Or I've actually borrowed books number 1 and 2, the audiobook, for this series so that I can read it. So it turns out I did read book number 1 in this series. It's just that I completely forgot about it, slash I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars because I think I was kind of in a historical romance reading slump, because during that time when I read it last year, it was during the historical romance readathon and I was going crazy with reading, and I think it just fell a little bit low for me because I wasn't in the mood for it. Judging by my review, which said it was light and flirty, but it's not what I wanted, which is probably back then I wanted something like really dark. Now I'm looking for anything that is romantic comedy wise. So I'm excited to read this one. Maybe I'll read book number 1 and 2 for the reading vlog. Who knows? Also, if you hear construction happening outside, my neighbors are really into rebuilding their whole deck and rebuilding their whole driveway. I've been waking up every single day at like 7 a.m. to construction, and it's not fun. It's definitely not fun. Okay, so I'm back and I managed to finish the audiobook to The Wrong Marquis by Vivenne Lorret on my walk. I look a little bit crusty right now. It's because I went for a walk and it was kind of hot outside. I don't know why I thought it was a nice day, but I got pretty sweaty as I was walking. Anyways, so this one, I'm going to have to give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I took a star off mostly because I realized the last like 10% of the book is where most of the conflict happens between our two characters, and that felt kind of rushed to me because I wanted more to happen towards the middle of the book, and I wanted more things to happen, you know, in the end or near the end where we can have some angst, because for the majority of the book it's very sweet. It's like very fluffy. We have our two characters who are completely smitten with each other and they're falling in love, and they're like slowly falling in love and allowing themselves to fall in love, which is really nice because our two characters are communicative and they both, like, you know, are not afraid to wear their heart on their sleeves until something happens that makes them scared and make them run away from each other. I did find it kind of annoying because what you will know about this book is that they each have their own problems. So he's afraid to fall in love because I already explained this before, but his fiance, you know, ditched him. And then our heroine actually has a fear of death because what happened was that when she was young, her father actually passed away, and now she's scared of like death and dying and like people who she loves dying. So then afterwards, that's her fear, which is like understandable, but also at the same time, like you would think that you'll kind of grow out of it a little bit. Like, for example, when I was young, I was very scared of dying. I did not like death. I did not like the idea that, you know, my loved ones wouldn't be here anymore. I didn't like that thought that I would be by myself at one point in my life, you know, or that I would be in a grave. But now as I grow older, you know, like I'm just like, death is part of life, and yes, it's still scary, and yes, it's still whatever, but it's not going to stop me from living the best of my life. And then meanwhile, we have our heroine who is literally like that. So I don't know, like I just didn't really care for our heroine's fear. That's why it kind of bothered me a bit, and that's why I took a star off. I also took a star off because I felt like the ending was just so rushed, because we finally know what happened to the friend in this book. And basically this whole series is actually about 4 friends who are writing a book together about the dangers of men in society. And why they are writing this is because one of the friends has been exiled from society because she had a little rendezvous with a mysterious male. And for some reason, he still is protected by the person who got rejected by him and who got hurt by him. So then afterwards, the 3 other friends don't know who this mysterious person is, and we find out who the mysterious person is in this book. And there's like a shock factor, you know, like we're like, oh my God, like how could it be this person, and things like that. So I felt like that big reveal happened way too quickly, so that's why I felt like it was kind of a letdown. But will I read books number 1 and 2 after this? I think so. Like, I think I'm really intrigued of doing a reread of book number 1, and then I'll dive into book number 2. And this isn't the first time I've reread like historical romances for the second time within a year of each other, because I read another book twice in like a year of each other, which was Lenora Bell's book, because I wanted to give it another try. I think it was called One Fine Duke or something. And then afterwards, that rating actually went up after my reread. And I knew it was psychological that at that time when I was reading that book, it was just not right for me because I was a mood reader. And then maybe Vivenne Lorret's first book in this series at that time wasn't for me. And that's why I'm giving it a lower rating. So maybe if I read it this time around where I'm actually excited to read it and intrigued by it, it'll be a higher rating. Who knows? You're coming along with me on this journey though. But for the rest of the day, I'm literally just going to wash this makeup off, take a shower, and then I'm gonna get back to work a little bit because right now I have something that I have to do for work, which sucks. Right now it is 8:30 p.m. So hopefully I can get that thing done in 30 minutes or less, and then I can relax with another book. I also forgot to mention that I'm still reading Wait For It, but I've never made any progress since the last time I checked in with you. It's a physical novel, so literally I would have to carve out time in my day to read it, unlike audiobooks, which I can literally listen to it on my walk or at work or whatever I'm doing chores around the house, which makes reading lot faster and more enjoyable in that sense. But then books, you know, it's always nice to have some quiet time by yourself too at night. So hopefully I can read at least a minimum of 50 pages tonight. We'll see. Happy Tuesday! So the last time we talked to each other, we were talking about Vivenne Lorret's novel, The Wrong Marquess. And now this book is book number 3 in the series called the Mating Habits of Scoundrels series. And I told you guys that I actually read book number 1 last year and I wanted to do a reread. So the last time we met, I did the reread of the first book called Lord Holt Takes a Bride. Now this one is a very fun one that I mentioned in my review, and I said that this one is a road trip historical romance. It involves our heroine who is being forced into a marriage of convenience, and she doesn't want to marry this guy because this guy literally is not being faithful to her. He has a mistress. He is just a bad seed and he's just not worth our heroine's time. So she doesn't want to get married, so she runs away, I think on the day of their wedding. And she runs directly into this like carriage ride, thinking that it's her best friend's cousin, who her best friend probably set it all up so that she can have a getaway car. And she runs in this carriage and she barges in and she demands him to, like, you know, get the carriage running because there's no time and the whole family is going to catch up with her and force her back down the wedding aisle. And then afterwards, he's like confused and he's like, what is happening? Like, who are you? Why are you in my carriage? Because our hero is actually in that carriage and it's not the best friend's cousin. But the hero thinks it's funny, so he goes along with her and they go on this road trip journey where they go and try to go to her aunt's place. And this takes on like a series of a couple days where they have a lot of misadventures, a lot of issues start happening, a lot of wacky things that put them off like their path to the aunt's place. So it's like a very hilarious situation. And then what I felt towards this book was that literally it was a good book. It was like a solid novel. You know, like we're having fun. We're seeing our main characters joking around, you know, getting into situations, having forced proximity, always having to share one room, one bed, waking up with each other in their arms and like just enjoying each other's company. But then nothing really happens for like majority of the book. And that's where I think last year I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars came from. Nothing really happens. And then towards the end, everything happens all at once. So I think that's my main problem with this book and with Vivenne Lorret's books. I feel like nothing really happens because it's so slow burn that the last 30% of the book, it feels like the whole plot is in there. So our heroine has to like, you know, return back to society, return back to her family. Her family's like, why did you run away from your wedding? We got our hero who has like a lot of daddy issues that he needs to figure out and solve. And then of course, like these issues all amount to something that put these two main characters not being able to be together, and then it causes all this fuss and this drama. So with that being said, my new rating for my 2021 reread, I would have to probably give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I mean, I liked it a little bit more because I got to see them being like cute and fun and friends with each other. But then afterwards, you know, it still felt so rushed, and even like the family like agreeing with her that the fiance was actually a piece of trash was rushed too as well. So I was kind of disappointed in that. So that's why this one is just 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'm going to start reading book number 2 now. I got a couple hours left at work, and then I have more hours after work because I have a lot of things I have to catch up on after work. So it's going to be a late night for me, but at least I have some books to keep me company. All right, welcome back to another update. Right now it is 6 p.m. I'm off work, but I'm going to be logging back in later on this evening because I have some stuff that I have to do for tomorrow. It's a very busy day today. It was very tiring. I am very tired, but I gotta push through, gotta drink my coffee, and keep working. But this is not a work update. This is a reading update. It could be a life update. Who knows? What do people like to watch in vlogs? I guess people like to watch in vlogs of like, what does the booktuber do outside of reading? Well, what this booktuber does is work. Just keep working. Anyways, okay, so the book that I'm reading right now is book number 2, and this one's called My Kind of Earl. And now this one is an interesting one. It involves our heroine who actually dresses up as a boy, and she goes into like this club, basically, a brothel. She goes to a brothel and she wants to, learn more about like the human body. She wants to learn more about the acts in the bedroom, because she is using this for pure research purposes for her book that she's writing with her friends about like scoundrels. And then she accidentally starts like this giant fight, and guess who saves her? Of course, it's our hero. So our hero comes and saves her, and he gets injured in the process, but like they're like whatever, right? She recognizes like a spot on his body and basically says like, hey, aren't you like of noble status? And he's like, okay, thank God you like know me and like yada yada yada, can you please help me reinstate my birthright and like so I could be the person that I'm meant to be? So then now she is his tutor, and then that's how their relationship blossoms. And if you guys feel like I'm talking way too much about the plot and I'm ruining the plot for you, I'm not. This is literally the synopsis of the book. I'm 30% in this book already, and so far I like it because our heroine is very dramatic. What I find about Vivenne's books is that she's really funny, and our characters are always dramatic, and our characters are always like kind of like over the top theatrical, which I really like because I find them to be really funny, and I laugh and I giggle when I listen to the audiobook. So I'm liking it so far. So hopefully this book would have more action towards the middle. I'll have more things happening between our characters, and then it wouldn't feel like book number 1 and book number 3 where I felt like everything just either happened way at the end or way too quickly. So far my feelings towards this book is that it's happening a little bit too quickly. There is a very strong attraction between our hero and our heroine. So our hero really is fascinated by her and her beauty. Meanwhile, she is oblivious to it. So I don't know how we're going to feel about this. So I'll keep you guys updated. But for now, after this, I am going to go for another walk. I'm going to bring my mom with me. And I'm going to come back, do my work, and I'm probably going to wash off my makeup and clock off for the day for this reading vlog. And then I'll come back tomorrow with my finished results. Welcome back to Wednesday. Okay, so today I think it's going to be the last day of my vlog simply because I'm like done my 3rd book and I'm moving on to my 4th book. I'm 50% in my 4th book, and I feel like 4 books is a lot of books to talk about in a reading vlog. But the one book that I did finish yesterday that I never told you guys about or finished wrapping up my thoughts on was My Kind of Earl by Vivenne Lorret. Now this one I gave a 3 out of 4 stars, around 3.5 out of 4 stars, but it's just gonna be sitting at a 3 on my Goodreads simply because what I foreshadowed and what I didn't want to happen happened. Basically, everything happened towards the end. We got our main conflict, we got our main conflict resolution, all happening within like literally the last 10% of the audiobook. I was shooketh, okay? That everything could be jam-packed in 10% of the audiobook, which is like, I don't know, like 30 pages within the book. So that's insane to me. Honestly, it was disappointing that that happened out again. I feel like Vivenne's books are either a hit or a miss for me. I would still consider them to be like a good read, like a solid read, a solid author to buy and support. But, like it's just not going to be any of your favorites that you're going to write home about. Maybe on occasion you'll have a 4-star read like I did with her latest novel, The Wrong Marquess. But other than that, it's just going to be on my TBR, but not my immediate read. It's going to be something that I'm going to be reading when I got nothing else to read. So the next book that I did start reading was actually the new Lisa Kleypas novel. So basically, Lisa Kleypas came out with a new novel called Devil in Disguise. And this one, I had the opportunity to borrow it through my library through one of those like 7-day loan ones, like skip the line loans. I don't know if you guys have that in America, but I have skip the line loans. And Devil in Disguise is basically about a female heroine who is a businesswoman. She owns her own business. I think it's a shipping business, if I remember correctly. And then she meets our hero within the first chapter. He's Scottish, and like they kind of start off as friends, but then afterwards, like they quickly like grow smitten with each other and they fall in love. And then there is a history of our hero that he does not know, and we're like solving this mystery of like what his real identity is and what not. Now, Devil in Disguise is obviously like a highly anticipated read on historical romance booktube or romance booktube. Like lots of people love Lisa Kleypas, and I think I mentioned this before in a couple of my recommendation videos where I basically said I don't really recommend Lisa Kleypas anymore in my recommendations, mostly because A, she's talked about by everybody here on booktube who likes historical romance, so it's redundant, and then B, me and Lisa Kleypas has a love-hate relationship now, even though she was my hero growing up when I first started reading historical romance. The historical romances that I did typically read from her were her older works, and I really enjoyed her older works. I felt like that they were really good. But then towards her new like works that she put out, like the Ravenous series, I just wasn't impressed by it. I thought that they lacked the certain like LK that I was so used to and that I fell in love with. So that's why I ended up giving it a lower ratings for the Ravenous series, and it wasn't just impressive for me. After that, I read The Hathaways, and even with The Hathaways, I felt that there was just still something missing. It was kind of overhyped, I feel like, so I wasn't like totally impressed by it. I think my average rating for the Hathaway series was like 4 stars out of like a couple of the books, and even one book I gave it 2 out of 5 stars, even though it was like my most anticipated one of the read. It was the red one. I'll put it here because I forget the name of it. But anyways, I'm not shitting on LK, and I don't want to like keep like bashing on LK for the people who like LK. So I'm going to give you a quick forewarning that I'm not going to have the most positive opinions of Devil in Disguise. So if you want to skip ahead and finish to the conclusion of this reading vlog, I'll put the timestamp and everything so you can skip ahead to it. But if you want to hear some honest opinions of LK and my thoughts and feelings, then stick around. So basically, Devil in Disguise. Hello, people who have read Devil in Disguise and want to hear an opinion of it and are okay with listening to me, having constructive criticism and like talking about characters. This book started off so insta-love that I was like taken aback by it. I was literally like, what is happening right now? Because our 2 characters started making out by like chapter 2, and I was like, where's the angst? Where's the yearning? Where's the like, does he like me? Does he not? Kind of like idea and emotions. And I was like so confused by it. Now, you guys might be thinking like, Lisa, you read novellas. Like novellas have insta love in it. Why are you complaining that a historical romance has novellas? Well, I don't know. For me, when I'm reading like a full length novel, like a romance novel or a historical romance novel, I want that build up. I want that tension. I want that slow burn, I don't want like something to happen right away, because I'm like, who does that? Like how many people out there have fallen in love within first sight? I don't know. I haven't. I wish I did. Maybe I will. I don't know, but not right now, so I don't relate to it. Then our characters are just like chumming it along. Like they're very chummy with each other. They're friends. And I'm just like, that's great. That's good, but like what's the plot now? Because like you guys are just together. So like they're like talking about the business, and then things go awry, and that's where we get into the thick of it. The Backyardigans theme song, TikTok song, if you guys don't know, we're into the thick of it. And that's where many other different tropes start piling in. Now I must admit, as I was listening to the audiobook and 30% into the audiobook, I have to tell you that I actually started reading the Goodreads reviews, the spoilers, because I wanted to know what's happening, because the first 30% was enough for me to get annoyed and wanted me to actually know what the outcome was and what our characters were doing. So I read the spoilers, and I read spoilers of book reviewers who gave it 3 out of 5 stars and less, simply because, now this is not an attack on LK fans, but This book is really just like a fan fiction for all the LK fans that really like the Wallflower series. And it ties directly basically to Sebastian from Devil in Winter, her most famous historical romance novel that I love truly and that everybody adores. So if you haven't read the Wallflower series, you're not going to like this book as much as other people who have read the Wallflowers and love that one and would protect and would like take bullets for that series. So you're going to see a lot of like really high ratings on LK. And I think it's because these reviewers really like this world that LK has built us in. But if you read like the lower ratings, you'll start to see that like maybe like lots of people are just so much in love with the Wallflowers that they're wearing rose-colored glasses towards her new books, which is this one that's related to the Wallflowers basically. And it's really interesting. Like I love hearing constructive criticism on books. Like I don't do it enough with like my favorite novels, but I should. But like listening from two sides of like the conversation of like why I stand on it, me loving this book, giving it 5 out of 5 stars, and the other half going like, okay, well, like let me tell you why I had issues with it. I feel like that's just like a wonderful discussion to have. So I'm totally open with it. So I read both sides. And I must say, I'm leaning towards the 3 out of 5 stars and lower side because I feel like, I'm not being fooled anymore. Like, there's like this story that just I don't resonate with and I don't connect with. And I feel like I'm not doing this because, and I feel like it's hard for me as a reviewer too, because I'm known now, like by my friends even, and by like other people that I hate popular novels that are like broadcasted here on BookTube, and I only like the obscure hipster ones. And I'm like, no, like that's not me. I'm literally just reading it objectively. I try not to be too biased on my opinions of like books, and I try to like give you points and facts of why I didn't like a book so I could be fair to the author and be fair to books and fair to reviewers. But like, I'm sorry, like this one just doesn't seem like it's a hit for me. But sorry, just got a very passionate with that little rant. But I'll come back with my final thoughts and feelings once I wrap up the book. I am 50% in. I got another 50% to go. Like I said already, I already know what's going to happen, but I want to feel it and I want to like understand it so that I could come back with like better review. Maybe like the emotions were stronger than the reviews, and maybe I actually like the main characters in the end. I don't know. I feel like I always check in with you guys on my bed, but I just wanted to come back here and talk about Devil in Disguise by Lisa Kleypas, which is the book that I just finished. I finished the last 50% of this book, and I must say the last 50% did not get any better in my personal opinion. I felt that it was very dry and it was very bland, and it involved a lot of characters from the Wallflower series. Now, a little thing that I forgot to mention that I didn't even pay close attention to is that yes, this is book number 7 in the Ravenel series, but it's also book number 3 in the Ravenel meets Wallflower series. So we got like Devil in Spring, Devil's Daughter, and then now we have Devil in Disguise. So all 3 devils somehow tie back to Sebastian from Devil in Winter. Another funny thing is that I'm not like an expert at like historical fiction or like any like books based on from specific authors. You know me, I enjoy my books, but like details and everything just kind of like go over my head as soon as I finish reading the book sometimes, and that just comes with me being this type of reader. So please don't judge me for it if I don't remember every single detail. But what we do have is that we have dedicated fans of LK who write reviews, who tell us exactly like what are the things that we are missing from the prior books. And what's interesting is that, yes, once again, I was back on Goodreads and I was reading reviews. And we got some readers who were very diligent with their note-taking, I feel like. Maybe they read Devil in Winter recently, and maybe they know Sebastian like the back of their hands. But they quoted things from Devil in Winter that basically made it seem like that this Sebastian in Devil in Disguise or Devil's Disguise and his past Sebastian does not add up. I'm not a stickler for that. I don't care if like, like if the characteristics are like a little bit different, but then the person quoted a passage where it literally directly said something, and that's just facts, But LK changed it to write this book to not make it facts. And it felt like, and reviewer actually said that it felt like it was just another attempt from LK to make more money off the Wallflower series by changing her previous characters into something that they're not and changing the original plot lines to something that they're not. Which is, in my opinion, if done well, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Do what you need to do. But if it's not done well, then, like, what's the point? I sound very angry, but, like, I'm not that angry with this book. I honestly walked in with kind of expectations of it being, like, a solid read, but not high expectations that it would be, like, one of my favorite historical romances and a 5 out of 5 stars. I literally did not have a thought that it would be a 5 out of 5 stars. Literally did not. My friends loved it and they gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I saw my friends giving it like 6 out of 5 stars, 10 out of 10 stars. Best books of 2021 so far. But for me, oh my goodness, this is probably one of my biggest disappointments. And this is just my personal opinion. I'm not here to attack any reviewers or readers who thought differently of me. I'm sure there's a bunch of you guys who really like this book, and there's a bunch of people who really didn't like this book. And you know what? All our opinions are valid. This one just wasn't for me. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to give it a 2 out of 5 stars. Mostly because I read Vivenne Lorret's novels, and I enjoyed those better than I enjoyed this one. And I gave those ones 3 out of 5 stars. So it wouldn't be fair for me to give LK 3 out of 5 stars when I didn't enjoy it as much as Vivienne's books. So, like, it's kind of like I have to do the math to make sure that the maths up, if that makes sense. Anyways, that is the end of this vlog where I accidentally read 4 historical romances and I did not finish the contemporary romance that I set out to finish in the beginning of the week, which was, hold on, let me grab it, which was Wait for It by Jen McKinley. I did not read the physical novel, but that was honestly not my intention to read this because I'm simply too busy to be sitting down and reading a physical novel, and when I'm off work, I just want to be relaxed and like on my phone watching TikToks or watching TV shows. So physical novels are always on the back burner for me. I know a lot of people on my wrap-ups ask me like how I managed to read so much with a full-time job and with working 9+ hours a day, and that's simply audiobooks. I literally borrow so many audiobooks from my library, and I have like 3 library cards because like my city's all lined up together to offer a wider range of materials and resources. So I literally listen to audiobooks as soon as they come out, and I place holds on them, and that's how I read most of the time during the week. And if not audiobooks, I'm also like reading ebooks. I find that ebooks are a lot faster to read because it's like a screen, like it's like a phone screen, and I prefer reading on phone screens, so I can easily like tuck myself in bed or like wait in line at the grocery store. No, that's a lie. I don't read outside, but like, you know, like I could tuck myself in bed, pull out my phone and start reading in my bed, or I'm downstairs and I'm waiting for something to cook in the microwave and then I'm reading my ebook, you know? But anyways, that is it for this reading vlog. It's very chaotic. There's not enough b-roll in this vlog, but like honestly, like, do you need to see me type on my keyboard to know that I'm working? No, you don't. I'm working. But I'll see you guys again next time. Thank you guys for watching my vlogs. My previous vlog was 49 minutes and a lot of people left really supportive messages, and like my heart is actually filled with so much love. So thank you so much for watching that vlog. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I'll see you guys again next time. Let me know in the comments down below if you like this vlog. And yeah, bye.